Hello and welcome to today's edition of Severe Thunderstorm Outlooks. We have a pretty good risk today. As you can see on today's map, Monday, we have that orange area here centered on southern Lake Michigan, the Great Lakes states. We also have a level 2 out here in the high plains from Rapid City south to parts of northeast Colorado and northwest Kansas. But of course, this attracts your attention here, so let's take a look at this. A lot of major metropolitan areas included in this, including all of Chicagoland, Milwaukee and Madison, Wisconsin, over the Grand Rapids, almost to Detroit, all of southern Michigan, pretty much all the way down to Indianapolis. This threat exists, and into portions of Ohio too, Toledo. And this is a level 3 out of 5 risk today. So on the day one outlooks, we have the privilege of looking at how the SPC breaks this down according to severe weather type. So let's take a look at the tornado risk. So it's at a 2% risk of any strength tornado within 25 miles of a point. This actually extends from northern Wisconsin out of that area, enhanced area, all the way down to Indianapolis and beyond. So a pretty large area for mid to almost late summer of tornado risks. That's something that does need to be watched with supercells or boundary interactions or thunderstorm or squall lines that form bulges and have the little QCLS tornadoes form. And then on severe wind risk, this is usually what takes over in the summer, and this is not letting us down. 30% chance of a 59 mile per hour wind gust or higher within 25 miles in the area shaded in red, 15% for yellow, and the hatching is SPC's probability of intensity outlook, which is new for them this year. So you can see there's actually, for wind, there's 3 levels of this. Intensity 1, 2, and 3. This is intensity 1. So again, the implication here is usually always that a line of thunderstorms will develop and produce damaging winds along the path. And this is a typical northwest flow situation that you see with the thunderstorms riding along and over and down, sliding along the northeast side of a hot air dome, which certainly exists in the Central Plains. Severe hail risk, not great, 15% chance in this area here from Rhinelander all the way down to northern Indiana, including Chicago, but not the main threat. You certainly will see some hail with some of these storms, but wind is the primary thing to be watching for, along with a little bit of a tornado risk. The tornado risk, according to NATOcast, is centered around South Bend up to Kalamazoo and a little sliver of eastern Wisconsin from Green Bay down to Milwaukee. Something to keep in mind, that is at a 3% risk of a tornado. Nothing hatched on that, so nothing real significant, I don't think, in the tornado department. Turning the page to Tuesday, a nice stable air mass moves in toward the area I just showed you, and the activity pretty much shifts to parts of New Jersey, all of Delaware, a good chunk of Maryland, all the way down through all of Virginia, all the way down to Charlotte, actually, and even going westward into parts of Tennessee, Kentucky, and also Georgia. That is the level 2 slight risk of a severe thunderstorm, with the green, the number 1, being a marginal risk. It's all about coverage and intensity on that. So if we zoom in on this, certainly you see the major cities involved in the level 2, the highest risk, which is Baltimore and the Washington, D.C. area, even as far north as Philadelphia, all the way down to Winston-Salem, Charlotte, back to the west, Asheville in this. Knoxville is in this, Fayetteville, that is in still North Carolina, right? Greenville, all the way to the coast, Virginia Beach, too. The tornado risk is primarily going to be on the eastern end of that outlook area. And this is where a 2% chance for a tornado will occur for Tuesday, tomorrow. Baltimore down to Greenville, Raleigh included, Richmond included, in those same coastal areas. The wind risk goes along with that. There's nothing hatched forecast for tomorrow yet, but it's a 30% chance of a 59 mile per hour wind gust or higher. In that area, you see shaded in the pinkish red color. And then on the hail risk side, 15% chance. Again, typically in the summer, the hail risk is usually either equal to wind or less, but certainly that is a chance. And remember, official severe hail is defined at 1 inch diameter or greater. On CSU's outlook for tomorrow, Tuesday, the tornado threat a little bit more up into New York and Pennsylvania than painted basically for SPC's outlook. And again, the hail, pretty much a no-show. Wind in about that same area, a little bit bigger. Wednesday, things settle down. We only have marginal risks as this system continues to sink southward into southern Georgia, parts of northern Florida, and a new high plains minor threat shows up there, Montana, Wyoming, up into the Dakotas. On CSU's outlook for Wednesday, the tornado risk is painted again close, but up into parts of New England, something to keep an eye on. And the wind risk peaks up a little bit there in parts of South, around Savannah, Georgia, southeast Georgia, maybe adjacent areas of South Carolina as well. It quiets down after Wednesday. No significant hatching or risk from CSU's outlook or any outlook really. Beyond that, certainly SPC has not pulled the trigger. And again, on Wednesday, look for that area there to be something that certainly the Storm Prediction Center is keeping an eye on for possible slight risks or higher in that area. The composites, these sum up basically the next 7 days, so July 27th through August 2nd, showing a pretty high supercell composite here, which I think is interesting. This I can account for. This seems a little anomalous to me. I'm not exactly sure. It seems like a return flow type of situation where this stable high is moving this way with time and we're getting a return of instability. But that's an interesting probability here. I'm not quite sure I can make any sense out of that. For week 2 anyway, we have, again, very, very diminished supercell chances. We're down in these green areas of 15% or maybe up to 20, probably around 15 actually.